One of the things that
The
people have
growth
said
of the
about
modern
agriculture
state
is that
brought
on the
with it
whole
the
it's more
development of mass
labor-intensive than
political
hunting and
parties
gathering,
and
and
the
that's one of the
emergence of
reasons why
professional
people have looked to
politicians.
explanations which,
A
you
man
might
whose
say, are
occupation
kind of
is the
coercive
struggle for
factors,
political
that
power
people have been
may go
forced into
about it in
agriculture
two
because they
ways.
had no alternative.
First, a person
That is
who relies on
ultimately
their
what may
political
happen,
activities
but
to
at the very
supply their
beginning
main
it could
source
be
of
that
income
agriculture was
is said
developed
to
because people
live
wanted
off
special status
politics,
foods for feasting,
while a person
that it
who
was
engages
actually a
in
social
full-time
need.
political
I
activities,
mean, how much
but
of
who
what we
doesn't
do in
receive
our
an
lives
income
is
from it,
generated by
is said
competition
to
with
live
others,
for politics.
and a lot of that is powered by
Now,
desire
a
for
political
new
system
things,
in
new
which recruitment
statuses,
to
new
positions of
whatever it might
power
be.
is filled by
Respect,
those who live
recognition
for
also are
politics
important.
is
And in
necessarily
small-scale
drawn from a
societies, a lot of those
property-owning
sorts of
elite
factors are
who are not
generated by the
usually
ability to,
entrepreneurs.
for instance, throw
However,
feasts.
this is not to imply
One
that such
possibility is that
politicians
some of these
will
foods that were
necessarily
being
pursue
grown were
policies
actually
which are
intended
wholly
especially as
biased
feasting
towards the
foods.
interests of the class
One of the
they
things that
originate
people
from.
have said about agriculture. Perhaps you remember the dire predictions from the analysts. The fall-off in housing threatened to drag down the entire economy. High energy prices put the kibosh on consumer spending. Runaway inflation was poised to take off. David Wyss is an economist at Standard & Poor's. He says in the end none of those things happened in the final 3 months of last year. For 4 centuries the Viking declined. The people of the Shetland Islands off the north coast of Scotland continued to sell their goods through the North European Hanseatic League. The Hanse's merchants bought shiploads of salted fish and in return the islanders got cash, grain, cloth and other goods. This lasted until the Act of Union between Scotland and England in 1707. This act prohibited the Hanse merchants from trading with Scotland. Consequently, Shetland went into an economic depression. The independent farmers of Shetland had to sell their land and were then obligated to pay rent, eventually becoming serfs. For 4 centuries the Viking declined. The people of the Shetland Islands off the north coast of Scotland continued to sell their goods through the North European Hanseatic League. The Hanse's merchants bought shiploads of salted fish and in return the islanders got cash, grain, cloth and other goods.
My hero is Marie Curie. She was a Polish physicist and chemist working in France, and she conducted pioneering research on radioactivity. She was also the first woman who won a Nobel Prize. Marie Curie is my hero because she showed a lot of determination in following her career path and her passions. She also showed a lot of patience in working for years to receive results from her experiments. Marie Curie, she designed and built the first mobile X-ray machines. So she worked on the front lines of the First World War along with her daughter, saving soldiers.
So in a very important tense, memory is the cognitive function that stores knowledge that we've acquired through learning and perception. But also memory is important because memory frees our behavior from being controlled by the present stimulus environment. If you didn't have memory, all you'd be able to do was react to whatever is currently in the environment now, whatever it is that you're experiencing. But memory allows us to respond to past events as well as events in the current stimulus environment. And memory also gives us the means to reflect on our experiences so that we plan for future encounters.